Hello fellow beekeepers, Fred here at Chenard's Nursery, and today I'd like to talk about Varroa Destructor. So Varroa Destructor is a mite, and it's a mite that actually evolved on a Chinese bee, a little bit different than the honeybee. The Chinese bee had a mandible, so they could bite the mites off each other and kind of clean up the hive and keep the mite populations low. But the honeybee does not have a mandible, so they have never had mites in evolution, and so they don't have any natural defense against the mite. So if the mite gets in the hive, it pretty much will kill the hive. The mite has a unique life cycle. It actually can get on the adult bee, and then when the bee lands on a flower, it'll jump off the bee and wait on the flower for the next bee. And also, when a hive gets a lot of mites, the hive will start to die from the mites, and it will abscond, and the bees will go infect other hives in your bee yard. So they're pretty devastating. They like to live in the drone brood because the drones have a longer period. Drones are 24 days before they hatch, and the regular worker bee is 21 days. So during the drone season, you'll have more mites, and when the hive is really active and larger, you have a higher mite population. So it's pretty devastating. It's something that needs to be monitored, and there's a couple easy ways to monitor how many mites your hive has. One of them is with this mite board. This board just slides into the back of the screened bottom board, and you can put this in there and wait for about a week or so and see how many mites are dropping off your bees. As they die of old age, they'll drop off and land on this board, and you can pull this out and count how many you have. Sometimes you'll pull it out and you won't see any mites on here, but if you check this board after a week and you have hundreds of mites on here, you've got a problem and you need to treat. So this is a good way to determine your mite level. Another way is with this Easy Check container. You're going to take a frame of bees from the brood area, and you're just going to scrape the bees off into this container and get like a half a cup or so of bees, and you'll put some rubbing alcohol in here, and then you'll shake this up, and it'll kill the bees, and it'll kill the mites too, and they'll fall down, and you can count how many mites you have on those bees. So a half a cup, count how many you have, and it'll give you a good percentage, a good idea of how many mites you have in your hive. I think if you see any mites, you should probably treat, but at least you'll know if you have a mite problem. They can be pretty bad. If your hive has mites and you keep the mite level really low, it can be okay. But if the mite load starts to build up, then the bees can have a huge problem. They can get immune deficiency. The mites they suck the life out of the bee through the whole life cycle of the bee. So they can get other things that the mites vector, like shrivel wing virus is one of them. They just get overall immune deficiency, and it really weakens the hive. The lifespan of the bee is shortened. There's a whole bunch of problems. So it's good to know your mite loads. So in my next video, I'll talk about how to treat for mites. All right, thanks for watching.